Let's talk about a man who shouldn't exist in the shark-infested waters of Hollywood. He's worth over $315 million, yet you can find him sitting on a curb, sharing his lunch with a homeless man. You see him riding the subway like a regular commuter, giving up his seat for others, or standing in the rain outside his own rap party because he didn't want to cause a scene. We're talking about Keanu Reeves. Most people in his position would be insulated by private jets, gold-plated Ferraris, and a wall of security. But Keanu, he lives like money is just background noise. He's famous for giving away massive chunks of his earnings, like the legendary story where he gave millions of his Matrix salary to the special effects and costume teams because he felt they were the unsung heroes. He doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk of a man who is completely detached from the stuff that usually ruins people. Here's the cold, hard truth that most people aren't ready to hear. Chasing money is the fastest way to become mentally poor. We live in a world that sells us a Matrix-style lie every single day. The lie is that once I have X amount of dollars, I'll finally be happy. But have you ever noticed that the goalpost always moves? If you make $50K, you want $100K. If you get $100K, you're looking at the guy with the $1 million house. It's called the Hedonic Treadmill. You're running faster and faster, sweating, stressed, losing your hair, and sacrificing your health, but you're staying in the exact same spot of psychological dissatisfaction. When your happiness is tied to your bank account, you aren't a success, you're a hostage. You're a slave to the market, a slave to your boss's whims, and a slave to your own bottomless greed. You've traded your most precious resource, your finite time on this earth, for pieces of paper that will never be enough to fill the void inside you. That's not being rich, that's being a high-end beggar. You're always asking the world for just a little bit more so you can finally feel okay. Here's the cold, hard truth that most people aren't ready to hear. Stress comes from desiring what you lack, fearing losing what you have. This is what the Stoics called a disorder of the soul. We think we are acquiring things, but in reality, those things are acquiring us. Every expensive toy you buy comes with a tax on your attention. You have to maintain it, insure it, protect it, and worry about it. Before you know it, your life isn't about living, it's about managing your clutter. Keanu Reeves broke out of this matrix decades ago. He realized that the greatest luxury isn't a yacht, it's the ability to not want the yacht in the first place. That is the ultimate fuck you to a system that tries to buy your soul with shiny objects. So how does Keanu do it? How does he stay so unbothered? He uses a Stoic concept that will change the way you look at your wallet forever. Preferred indifference. This is a deep one, so stay with me. The Stoics, like Seneca, who, ironically, was one of the wealthiest men in the Roman Empire, argued that things like money, health, and reputation are indifferent. This doesn't mean they are bad. It means they don't actually make you a good or virtuous person. You can be a billionaire and be a miserable piece of trash, and you can be a beggar and be a hero. The Stoics called wealth a preferred indifferent. It's preferred to have it, because let's be real, it's better to have a warm bed than to sleep in the dirt. But it is not essential for a flourishing life. Keanu treats his 315 million as a preferred indifferent. He has it, but he isn't owned by it. He knows that if a glitch in the Matrix happened and he lost every cent tomorrow, he'd still be Keanu Reeves. His worth is built on his character, his kindness, and his discipline. Internal things that no market crash or cancel culture can ever take away. Ask yourself, why do you really want money? Most people don't want the money, they want the status. They want the look of being successful so they can feel superior to others or hide their own insecurities. But that's a trap. If you're buying things to impress people you don't even like, you're just building a golden cage for yourself. You're becoming a character in a play, acting out a life that isn't yours. Seneca used to say, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." This is the masterclass in real worth. Real wealth is the gap between what you have and what you want. If you have $1 million, but you need 2 million to feel secure, you are poorer than the guy who has $10 but doesn't want a single cent more. When you chase money as your primary goal, you lose your dichotomy of control. You cannot control the global economy. You cannot control if a pandemic shuts down your industry. You cannot control the whims of consumers. If your peace of mind depends on these external factors, you will always be an anxious wreck. You'll be checking your portfolio at 3 a.m., heart racing, because your self-worth is fluctuating with the NASDAQ. Keanu doesn't check the NASDAQ, he checks his character. He knows that the only thing he truly owns is his mind and his choices. Everything else is just a loan from the universe that can be called back at any time. When you accept that, you stop being a slave. You start being the master of your own reality.
So, how do we actually live this? How do we apply this Keanu secret when we aren't movie stars? It starts by practicing internal abundance. It's about building a fortress inside your head that no amount of poverty or wealth can shake. Here is your StoicPunch wealth audit and the 3-step challenge for this week. Step 1. Identify the ego purchases. Go through your bank statement or your Amazon history. Be brutally honest. What did you buy just to feel a hit of dopamine? What did you buy because you wanted someone else to see it? Those things aren't assets. They are parasites. They suck your money and your attention. Keanu often wears the same pair of boots for years, even after they've been duct-taped together. He doesn't need new to feel good. Can you say the same? Step 2. Practice voluntary poverty. This is a classic Stoic exercise used by Marcus Aurelius and Seneca. Once a month, or even just for a weekend, live like you're broke. Eat the simplest food, beans and rice, sleep on the floor, wear your oldest clothes, and walk instead of taking an Uber. Why? To prove to your panicked brain that your worst-case scenario isn't actually that bad. Most of our anxiety about money comes from an exaggerated fear of having nothing. But once you see that you can be perfectly happy with a simple meal and a library book, the world loses its power over you. You stop saying yes to toxic jobs or soul-crushing commitments because you aren't afraid of the financial fallout anymore. That is real freedom. Step 3. Invest in character, not just crypto. We spend hours researching the best stocks or the next big crypto coin, but how much time do we spend investing in our own patience, our own resilience, our own kindness? $1 million can disappear in a single day, but a stoic mind, a mind that can handle tragedy with grace and success with humility, is a lifetime investment that pays dividends in peace every single hour. Keanu Reeves isn't a legend because he's rich. He's a legend because he doesn't care that he's rich. He found his enough long ago. Most people are chasing a horizon that never arrives, always thinking the next thing will fix them. Keanu realized the next thing is a ghost. Today's challenge: what is one luxury you can give up this week to prove you're in control, not your wallet? Maybe it's the daily $7 coffee, the takeout, or that subscription you don't use. Cancel it, not to save the money, but to save your soul from the need for it. Tell us in the comments what you're cutting out. Let's see who's actually in charge of their life. If this matrix-breaking talk gave you the punch you needed to stop chasing shadows and start building a real life, then smash that like button. Subscribe to StoicPunch for more reality checks, and hit the notification bell. Stop being a hostage to the dollar. Start being the master of your own mind. This is StoicPunch. Stay wealthy where it actually counts.